Welcome to the Reddit library. Ex-burglars of Reddit. What things make people a target? What things deter burglars? A recent study showed that burglars come back to the same houses quite often. They do this because of a number of motives. 1. They want to take things they, for some reason, couldn't take the first time. 2. They are kinda familiar with the house. 3. It's guaranteed that the people they robbed replaced the stuff they stole the first time. Often these replacements are of better quality than the original. So after you get raided, take good security measures. Yes. When I was a kid we had our house burglarized. They saw my parents loading the car to go skiing. They loaded our suitcases with a bunch of our crud. They came back a month later and took a lot of the stuff that was replaced. Then they came back almost exactly a year later. Parents sold our house and we moved. I'm going to assume having a cop for a neighbor that parks his cruiser in the driveway facing my house is a nice burglar deterrent. My first house I had a neighbor who was a banded OMC member, kind of guy who kept his bench press on the front porch. They used to have BBQs in the front yard as well with lots of his club members. Houses on our block getting robbed stopped completely when he moved in, so having an outlaw biker around keeps the hood safe. Before I bought my house, I lived in a pretty cruddy neighborhood. We would hear gunshots on any given evening. One day, one of our neighbors who we had talked to many times before came up to me while I was mowing the lawn and asked if I'd seen anything. Apparently hers and several other houses in the neighborhood were broken into and robbed that previous night while she was at work. They pushed the air conditioning unit through the wall, crawled in and proceeded to take everything that wasn't nailed down. A few weeks later, another neighbor reported the same thing. Eventually, everyone in our neighborhood except us had been robbed. Our big difference was a few signs on our fence that said beware of dog. The dog in question was my wife's dachshund, but we occasionally had my friend's mastiff visit us. Dogs seemed to be a decent deterrent according to the cops that came around asking questions. So how much did you make robbing your neighbors? Enough to get out of the neighborhood. Nobody in the neighborhood had much to start with, so I doubt much really got stolen. Turn on exterior lights. Have an alarm sign in front yard. Alarm stickers on windows. Barking dog. It skipped that house, yay I win. Wait, is it okay that the barking dog is my neighbor's? I taught my dog not to bark. She will growl and bark when someone comes in. Sure. If I'm headed around to your backyard and the neighbor's dog starts barking, I'm out. There was a guy hanging around my apartment complex for at least 5 hours claiming to have been waiting for someone. At night my husband went out to walk our dog and I was in the bathroom. He realized he didn't lock the door and remembered that guy, turned back after only a minute and found the guy in the process of opening our door. My husband is 6'4" and my dog is a 65-pound bull terrier. My husband started yelling, but what I saw scare the crud out of him the most was my dog trying to take him down. Never saw that guy again. One thing on Reddit I read was that having a pair of large work boots on the porch next to the door can deter burglars unless they know you. It basically says someone is home right now. It's possibly a big dude who can hurt you. Or thick dog leash helps to large dog ball that has Brutus on it won't hurt either. Combine that with one of those barking large dog motion detectors near your door too. Actually they attach to your door knob and activate when someone touches it, or activate when someone knocks on your door. Perfect for those daytime burglars who go around acting like they are someone just knocking on your door like anyone else would. Lol. A family member had a dog named Brutus. He was cool. Would chase any form of light, though. I'm not a burglar, but I worked for the largest security company in this country for half a decade. Burglar alarms do not deter burglars. They just alert you that you have been burglarized. Most of the time the police will take very little action in response due to the fact that 98% of burglar alarm activation constitute false alarms. The sign that comes with the alarm though, that thing is worth more than the alarm as far as deterring burglars. My job was to take reports from customers who had been burglarized. See my first point above. In all my time doing these interviews, and I never interviewed one single burglary victim who owned a medium-sized or large-sized dog. Not one single time. That is not to say that no one who owns a dog ever gets burglarized. I'm just saying that in 5 years of spending 8 hours a day interviewing people who had been, not one single time did I encounter the situation. I think there is at least some statistical validity in that. TL. Big duck and dog is the best burglary deterrent you can possibly have. Better than burglar alarms, signs, guns or expensive locks. So I have 4 big ducking dogs that love to bark and sound scary as crud, despite the fact that if anyone actually did break in, they would be greeted with potentially being licked to death. Plus one of our dogs is straight retarded and one has 3 legs. Will the barking alone be enough of a deterrent, despite the fact that my dogs are worse than worthless as far as guard dogs go? Motion sensing floodlights outside. No big bushes in front of windows where someone could hide. Thorned bushes are always good for under windows if you keep them close enough. A dog is nice. If you can't afford an alarm and security cameras, fake cameras and alarm contacts on windows can be a deterrent, hopefully. Better to just get the real thing. Remember, any security footage could possibly be obtained and used against you if something goes down. If you do shady things, cameras could be a bad idea. Deadbolt locks on all exterior doors. Keyed outside and inside if there's windows in or next to the door, but then only take the key out when nobody is home for fire safety. If I aren't always home at night, get a few timers for lamps inside. Pro level, get a cheap TV, like a crud TCRT 13-inch that nobody wants. Put it in a cabinet or wall unit type thing, so you can close the door to hide it when guests come over. Put it on a timer to stay on until very late, and set a light timer in a bedroom to come on when it goes off. Install vertical blinds on a window across from the TV. Vertical blinds are great because you can angle them for a very limited view, so the house looks less closed up and more inhabited. Anyway, in this case, angle the blinds so you can clearly see the crud TV, but nothing else in the room. Set volume so you can just barely hear it outside. This does 2 things. The light and sound make it seem like someone could be home. And, or thief may look in, see the old 13-incher and just be like, damn, this dude's stuff sucks. I'm going somewhere else. You'd be surprised how often people get robbed by people they know, or people connected to people they know. We got burglarized. A guy broke into a garage, and the first thing the cop asked me was, which one of your friends is acting the most differently toward you? I told him. It did turn out to be the culprit. When I was young and dumb, I would boost rims off cars, cause you could make quick money, and it was less than a felony. The number 1 deterrent hands down, lights. If the place is lit up like a Christmas tree on the outside of a house, you stay clear cause it means anyone can see you, and see you clearly. Recently our town has been hit with a wave of rim stealing, but it's just a tire or 2. Only a few times all 4 tires were gone. People will come out to their car in the morning for work to find out it's sitting on a block. Most of the crime was done in broad daylight at 2 popular shopping centers. They would have a car on the lookout. 2 guys jump out, take a rim, and haul butt. Nobody has caught the ring of thieves yet, and this has been going on since early summer. I stuck with commercial burglary. Residential burglary carried a risk of getting hit with a home invasion charge, which increases your sentence if convicted. Not to mention, you run the risk of getting shot by some redneck with a spring-loaded magnum under every flat surface in the house. Anyway, I'd pick places based on the upkeep of their equipment. If the cash register was out of date, so was their camera system. If the clerk leaves the register open a crack while they're behind the counter, that means the safe is likely open in the back room. It also helps to hit the places that hire felons, fast food joints, video stores, etc., because the cops are gonna waste a lot of time looking into the staff members who have a criminal history. The closer they're looking at them, the better off I am. Of course, this was minus 15 years ago. Things change. Looks around current employer, well crap, thanks for the tips. I'm about to rob the crud out at a Blockbuster. Listen to a KFI radio interview when I lived in Los Angeles. Former anonymous burglar said he avoided houses that hung the US flag. Said it told him the occupants likely owned at least one firearm. Would avoid even if it looked as though no one was home. I bet Confederate flags would be more of a deterrent. USA flag, we got a gun. Confederate flag, we've got guns, a harpoon and a bunch of hogs to remove what's left of ya from this mortal plane. I would check out a house several times over 2 days. If there was no sign of movement, no lights coming on or off, no curtains moved, newspapers left on the driveway, I was interested. Is the house in a nice neighborhood? Is it well kept? If so, I figured they had nice stuff. Next question. Is there an easy escape route? Woods in the backyard were excellent. Next question. Is there a window hidden from view that I can smash if I have to? Can confirm. I caught someone casing my parents' place one time when I was house sitting for them. Curtains were closed, grass was getting long, and I didn't get around to picking up the paper till the evening. Next thing I know, someone's knocking on the door and they looked pretty surprised to see that someone was at home. They had a rusty old pickup and no papers or anything. After some hesitation, they asked if I was interested in resealing the driveway, which had obviously been done just recently. L said no thanks and called the cops to report suspicious activity. During the next long weekend they came around again in the same cruddy pickup. The neighbors spotted them and stood at the end of their driveway asking what they thought they were doing. No problem since then. TL. Doctor, don't make it obvious that nobody's home even if I are home. Also, naughty neighbors are a great deterrent. Don't post anything on social media until you have gotten back home. I can't tell you how many neighbors and family have gotten robbed because of this. Yes, I'm often annoyed by people who tag me on Facebook while we are out socializing. Like, damn it, you just told the whole world I'm not at home. Change your FB privacy settings so your approval is required to tag you. They can still tag you, but you wait till you're home to approve the tag. Edit. This also helps with embarrassing pictures, like the time you accidentally peed yourself a little bit while doing a keg stunt. Not that I would know anything about that. The day I decided to do this was a good day. It doesn't just help in this scenario either. No longer do I have to be subjected to friends uploading non-flattering photos of me. You would think they would know that all of my photos need to be from a certain elevated angle and front on only by now. In the autobiography of Malcolm X, he said that if he went to a house and the bathroom light was on, he didn't go in. Said something like, a guy in the bathroom could come out anytime, too bad you can't see our bathroom from outside. I guess if I kept the door closed with a light on, they could break and then panic at the light. Not a burglar, but a guy who is paranoid about keeping his crud from being stolen. Buy a $3 blinking lid from eBay and install it on top of your car's dash. Especially a blue one, as that screams fancy aftermarket alarm. Keeps the neighborhood 3 AM car hoppers away. Car hopping is basically what little crudhead kids do. They walk around neighborhoods and apartment complex parking lots trying car door handles to see if any are unlocked, so they can steal anything they can inside. Some are not above breaking into a locked vehicle if they spy a purse, backpack or something else theft worthy within sight. I've read that 3 AM is the optimal time to hit an apartment complex parking lot. As a former criminal, this is true, at least in my area. The loggers have already left for work and everyone else is trying to hang on to that precious last couple hours of sleep. No longer do crime have job and hate thieves like a reformed smoker hates cigarettes. Edit. Precious, not previous.